So we have Ellen Zhang. She is Director of Partnerships at Absolute Web. We have Hattie at Wellbel, Gina at Stay AI, and Kellie at ONNIT. Let's give a round of applause for these four for this next panel. Come on up, ladies.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And I wanted to take this time to thank everyone to, just coming out here. I know everyone's flown from really far away. Just spending time with us. We're really appreciative. My name is Ellen. I'm the Director of Partnerships here at Absolute Web, and we're the creators of EEE. But I'm really excited about our panel today because we have a stacked superstar team of girls here. But yeah, we'll get started. I'll let everyone quickly introduce themselves.
Hi, so I'm Hattie, and I run the ops over at Wellbel, and we're a hair, skin, and nail supplement. And we have shampoo and conditioner.
Hey guys, I'm Gina, one of the co-founders of Lunar Solar. I ran our retention team there, and then most recently, founder of Stay AI, a subscription platform that powers brands in the Shopify ecosystem.
Hi, I'm Kellie, head of ecom and retention at ONNIT. It's a men's nootropic supplement brand.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get started with the first question here. So, what is the biggest mindset shift brands had to make as retention went from kind of a nice to have to more of like a core growth strategy right now?
I would say our biggest and kind of simplest tip is defaulting to subscription on your PDPs. Like, if you are not doing that, if you haven't tested that, we highly recommend it. I think people will get caught up on oh man, what if the conversion rate slightly goes down because we're defaulting to subscription? Don't just think about that moment. Don't think about just the conversion rate on the PDP. Think about, but if the conversion rate went down a little bit, how much more is a subscriber worth than a one-time purchaser? And so can you take a little bit of a hit on the conversion rate? And most of the time we don't even see that. It drops. But even if it does, is the subscriber worth so much more to you that it makes sense to acquire a better customer on that first order? So that's my big mindset shift. I think that people used to be no, the first time somebody buys from you, it has to be a one-time purchase. They just want to try it first. I think customers are way more open to buying subscription. They understand it's flexible. They understand that they can cancel if they need to.
Yeah. And then so I would say my biggest mindset shift, as well as Wellbel and some other brands that I work with, it's not just about trying to stop someone from churning right when they're actually going to churn. It's about being a bit more proactive. It's about looking, okay, how are you acquiring the customer? What billing cycle are they coming in on? What case pack size are they coming in on? And really almost marrying that life cycle loop. So from acquisition all the way to retention, and marrying that and just trying to be a bit more proactive instead of looking at things so siloed, I would say is a big piece that we've been shifting to.
Yeah, I would I would double down on what you're saying. Absolutely. I think, before retention was sort of this nice to have after the fact sort of function in the organization. And I think they deserve a seat at the acquisition table, right? Mm-hmm. Because ultimately we have to deliver on the promise that we make in the acquisition stage in order to retain our customers, right? On those promises, especially in the supplement wellness space, when we're promising, you'll start to see results in 30 days, you'll see results in 45 days, right? We want to make sure that we're communicating that through the journey so that we're retaining customers and they don't have a sort of unfounded expectations or the wrong expectations and churn early. So really bringing retention to the table, if you will, is helpful.
Yeah, so Wellbel, you have to be on Wellbel for at least 3 months to start seeing results. So that's a really big piece for us is the education. And so that's actually one of the reasons why, we know if somebody buys a quarterly subscription, their retention's 10 points higher. Mm-hmm. But we also know it's part of the product journey because they're being set up for that success with getting 3 jars out of the gate instead of subscribing monthly, which has been a really right back to the product journey and the types of products you're selling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'd really love to hear from you guys is how do you guys personally define what a loyal customer looks like today and what it looked like, how different it was 5 years ago?
I think one of the big differences in analytics and how we're looking at these retention programs is it used to be a heavy focus on just the active subscriber count. How many people are active right now? How do we keep people active? Where now we're seeing customers focus way more on the payback periods. Mm-hmm. It's not enough that a customer is active. If they're active and they skip their order every single month, that that doesn't help you. You shouldn't just be looking at the active count. You need to look at like the revenue retention. How much are we paying to acquire these customers? What's the payback period? Is the average customer skipping every other order? Are they on the right cadences? Is it predictable revenue? So I think, yeah, we're seeing a lot of people lean into that and look for the analytics outside of just subscriber count, active and canceled. It's really about how much people are spending with them every month. Can they increase the AOV of the subscription over time?
That's a great point. I really liked what you said about that engagement piece, right? How many people are engaged with, either skip or swap outside of, they're choosing those over cancel. It really is an indication of brand loyalty, but they're choosing how to engage with the brand on their terms that fit their lifestyle, that fit where they are, right? If they need to pause or if they want to skip out flavor. I think those engagement metrics are an indication of brand loyalty.
Yeah, completely. And I also think that for the way that I think about, like, if somebody is a loyal subscriber, it's not that they're just active. It's like you're saying, how are they spending? Are they buying new products in your catalog? Are they trying new things? Are they switching around their billing cycle so it better fits their life cycle? All of those pieces. It's always about that AOV boost, not just from checkout, but like continuing through their journey. Yeah.
Those are all really great points. What's a common mistake that you actually see brands make as they start to scale? Because I know brands get fast, really, really big. So what's one big mistake that you've noticed through like your experience at other brands or with your own brand?
So discounts. I think playing way too hard on the discounts for acquisition is
That's a good
an
take.
expensive mistake that we see some brands do. Yeah, very expensive mistake.
I would echo that, is that you'll get people in on the discount and then, you kind of have to just continue offering discounts in the cancel flows and all of those things. And you need to give people more. We're seeing people love a gift. They love a free gift on, order number 2. They love a surprise. They love an exclusive thing. And I think other things that get slept on are like, what does the subscriber welcome flow look like? What does the win back flow look like? With these flows that people set up, in their different ESPs and in their accounts, they forget about and they focus so much more on some of the other stuff. And these other things can be incredibly impactful. Like you should absolutely be optimizing your cancellation survey and looking at it every month and seeing how can we actually change things here and what did we learn from this?
Feedback is so important. I feel like no one ever looks at their surveys.
Oh, it's so valuable. Oh my gosh.
Like something that I feel like I've been trying to preach on the cancellation survey is like, yes, optimize for the save rate, but also like let the data and what people are saying guide the rest of the journey. If someone is saying, if your number one cancellation reason, which I can almost promise you it is I have too much product, what are you defaulting to on your PDP? Are you putting people into 2 weeks because you think that that's the best thing because you're going to get more? But like, no, you're just going to annoy people and they're going to churn out and you're paying so much to acquire these customers. So really learning from the cancellation flow and then making decisions way earlier in the journey, immediately from the welcome flow, right after somebody purchases. What can you tell them that kind of like counteracts that reason that they're going to churn 30 days later?
And if I can expand on that a bit, I think also the cancellation questions, right, and randomizing the order, because there can be a lot of first question bias, right? If people are trying to cancel, they'll just pick the first thing, but that's actually a really rich survey to get true insight to inform product, product innovation, or maybe pack sizing, right? If they have too much product, which we know is the number one cancellation reason, and then also expanding that other question, right? If your subscribers are canceling with other over 5%, I think is the stat, then there's room for optimizing to get more insight and understanding why your subscribers are canceling.
Yeah, like we all use chat or something now. Just take the other and drop it in there and be like, what's the number one thing? Like there is no reason not to dig through other anymore.
I live off of ChatGPT. It's bad.
I'll do now.
Subscription is often positioned as a predictable revenue, but when does it actually increase risk versus instead of like stability?
I think that for us, so most of the time, yeah, again, I'm like, default to subscription, get people in 100%. The only, like, the caveat to that, and when I'm like, maybe not for you, is when you see churn over 50% going into order number 2. If you're looking at like churn by order number and you're seeing that people are really just subscribing to get that discount, we see it a lot with brands that'll offer more than like 25% on their subscription offer. So it's really, really heavy. And sometimes it works. Again, I have brands that offer 35% off if you're on subscription, and it works for them. But there are brands where it doesn't, because maybe the product really doesn't lend itself to subscription. And so if you're getting people in, you're offering this heavy discount to incentivize first-time subscription, and they're canceling before they can make it to the second order. Like, if you're looking at queued up revenue and you're making decisions on that, and you're like depending on inventory for that, and your skips and your cancels are off the chart, I think it does more harm than good to the business.
Yeah, I think the inventory piece specifically, I mean, their businesses can get themselves in a really sticky situation by over-indexing on inventory because of they believe they have all of this queued up revenue, and unfortunately, they may not actually. So that's a really, really big piece to watch in a business from like
Yeah.
that operational drag perspective.
We implemented like a forecasting over our queued up revenue on the chart to look at it, because like even really great, you're going to lose 20% of the over the next 30 days queued up revenue. At least 20% is going to skip or cancel or move their date or whatever. But some brands it's way higher. Some brands times it's like 50% or more, and you need to know that. And
You also
that.
need to keep your production timelines in mind, because if let's say you have a 4-month production timeline and you're projecting out that far, you can really over-index, even if it's just on expiration dates. You have to be so mindful.
I don't think about the expiration date. You know, that
They're
stuff doesn't.
they're a tricky thing you have to manage. It's a balancing act.
Go ops teams.
Yeah, we love ops.
Okay, for people building brands today, what is one retention decision that you would have made earlier on if you had the opportunity to rewind the clock?
I would personally invest in understanding the subscriber behavior early, not just looking at those top line numbers. I think, it's great to understand your revenue, understand your revenue goals, but really understanding, what are my customers doing? When are those high impact points? Where is the friction? How can I improve? And how can I learn from these early subscribers to set myself up as we ramp up acquisition? Would be a big piece, really understanding that behavior.
Yeah, I would echo everything that you said. Also, just echo myself again. I would default to subscription if I had a good subscription product, and not be afraid to get first-time buyers into it. And yeah, just really, really understand what people want from a subscription. Some people want flexibility. Some people want exclusive offers. Some people want content. Some people need to be able to swap products through and through. I think about like my Olipop subscription, I'm constantly flipping through the flavors and going through different things. And it's not because I don't like the flavor I'm on. I just, I go through
Flavor
it.
fatigue is real.
Yeah, absolutely. So like make that simple for people.
Yeah. I think too, on the sort of less sexy side is making sure you have dunning in place and done
Yes.
well. Right. I mean, it's such a
So
simple.
deep in dunning analytics. right now.
I'm so oversimplifying this, but but it's an easier when there's a lot of churn that happens just from renewal of credit cards and things like that that can be fixed or found out about through like getting a dunning process in place that you can then optimize. But I think that part is often forgotten, but translates into really great retention.
Yeah. Shout out to dunning and understanding your dunning. And it's very different. Like I look at some of our top customers. I've been doing this internal dunning project. So it's near and dear to my heart right now. I know more about dunning than anyone really should. But like I see in some of our brands, if you have like a higher AOV product, it's a more of like you're probably like under 10% of your cancel is passive. But a lot of our products like a lot of the brands that we work with, a lot of their products, it's like 25% of cancels come from people failing out of dunning.
That's high.
It is
That's
very
very
high.
high.
And it totally depends on the brand. But I've pulled 3 or 4 of our accounts recently that do, over $1 million in subscription revenue a month, and they are losing 20 to 25% of customers every month, like of their total cancels is passive churn and dunning. So understanding what are the top credit card failures in there, and it's sometimes it's gated and you don't really know, but like insufficient funds is a huge one. And how do you get ahead of that, expired cards, all of that. So we're looking into all the different things that we can help do to optimize that.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's really important that more brands should be doing is really investing in the right partners. So investing in the right tech, investing in the right partners that can actually help you scale and grow your business. Because there's definitely, I think there's like a curve where the brands are on the smaller side. They're starting, they're new. They're like, I'm lean, I'm mean. But at the end of the day, like if you have the right partners and the right tools in place, it can really help that trajectory of your business. It's really important to invest in those people and that tech.
I do feel like people don't know when to kind of start investing in those partners too. So that's a great point. From everyone's experience, what's the hidden cost of poor retention that most founders actually underestimate early on?
All right, I'm going to echo what I just said.
Partners.
And I think you can make really expensive mistakes by going with a cheaper partner who actually cannot support your growth and support your strategy. Like I mean, we work with you guys and we love you guys so much, and you're an extension of our team, but I think there's a lot of different partners like that should be that extension.
Yeah,
of your
and
team.
I feel like we really value our customers, and I know you guys invested earlier on, so it's like the tenure and everything, it goes a really long way.
They know your business, they know like the pitfalls, all of it. It's very important. Yeah.
I feel like one of us, maybe you said it before, of thinking about acquisition and retention as the same team. Somebody said it in the room. Was it?
Yes,
yeah,
I
okay,
did.
okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retention deserves a seat at the table.
Yes.
The acquisition
Okay, well,
table.
yeah, I'll let you go first because I was going to echo that.
Oh no, please do it.
Oh, okay. We have these like two different segmented teams. So a lot of times you have an acquisition person and a retention person, and the teams sometimes can operate incredibly siloed. But when you're talking about these like subscription experiences, like it really needs to be all tied together, because you can bring down what you need to spend on acquisition and acquiring new subscribers when you have better retention. And also, when subscribers are churning out and understanding, did they come from a certain channel? Is it coming from a certain product? That should influence how you're acquiring new subscribers. You want to optimize for the subscribers that have the highest, lifetime value. You want to optimize for the best retention, all of that. So really bringing those teams together and making sure that they're not kind of like just somebody's just focused on getting new subscribers in the door, and then the other person's trying to figure out, well, how do I make the best of it? Like, let the retention person pull. Who is the best profile for a subscriber? Where are these people coming from? Are there certain channels or areas that we are marketing to where we see that they immediately canceled. They're just coming in for discounts. The dunning for insufficient funds is way higher when we do this thing. So yeah, I would say really focus on combining those teams.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think what becomes really challenging when retention is poor is you lose that rich data, right, of what's working, what is keeping customers staying around, coming back for more, adding more to their subscription basket. And that really, those insights are feedback loop to product innovation, right, to the acquisition team. And so retention isn't done well, or maybe it's underinvested in, you lose all of that rich insight that drives the business.
Yeah, I completely agree. With Wellbel and some other brands that I work with, we've been utilizing a new program called HAM to help us with that. And it's so important where you can really tie that loop and understand what happens after that first purchase. So then you can then go back to maybe it's acquisition, maybe it's continuing with retention, maybe it's your influencer marketing, all of those different angles where you're sending out the different marketing efforts into the world to make sure you're acquiring those right subscribers and subscriptions. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And I know we also have our tech partners out there. If you guys are looking, there's Stay AI's booth. There's an Absolute Web booth outside as well. I wanted to use the last 10 minutes here to open up the floor to questions in the audience. So if anyone has any questions for our beautiful ladies up here, this is the time. Yes. Oh, should I go give the mic? Or you can scream. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Hi. You mentioned a new platform called HAM. Could you go in a little bit more about how that works and for subscription brands, how we could get introduced to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an analytics platform. It finds parity between an amazing Stay and other providers in Shopify. And it also integrates with Klaviyo, Meta and Google soon to be coming, and it really helps brands understand what happens after that first purchase. So how customers are going through different catalogs, what you should be pushing on a PDP page, all of those fun things. And then, yeah, to get introduced to it, you can go to, it's goham.io and book a demo. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for asking.
They have a cute logo. It's a little pig.
A great panel, by the way. I really enjoyed it. I'm Antonio. I own Black Forest Supplements, also a men's brand. And I'm wondering how you guys analyze retention aside from, average LTV and churn in the subscriptions. Do you guys have a tool where you have better insights as to little tiny changes and how they're affecting customer lifetime value?
So Wellbel uses ham, but then I will say a metric that I really love to look at outside of just like retention by month or things like that. I really love to look at retention by rebill, because as we were speaking, I mean, people skip, people pause. Somebody can stay active and not actually be driving revenue to your business. So I think retention by rebill is a really incredible one, especially looking at your different products, that I assume with, like your skincare brand, people probably use them very differently. And then also net dollar retention. So of the cohorts you are acquiring, what money and what dollar are they actually driving to the business each month? Are two great reports that I really love.
Yeah, I would echo that absolutely. Something similar to like retention by order, but we're looking at like cumulative revenue for the different cohorts and seeing how much like they spent on the first month, the second month, and all of that, and then like how much that cohort will spend, over 6 months. And then I think a huge part of that and how to get that up, like, yes, of course, cutting down on churn, getting people to, keep their order every 30 days, but also for supplement brands, if you have a big product catalog, add-ons like need to be part of the journey. Like you have to be looking at what is my gateway product, and then what is my add-on product. And every single like order that goes out, there should be get 15% off extra if you add this to your upcoming order. That shipping 2 products, there's, you can take a little bit more of a hit on the margin there. So trying to get people to continue adding more stuff from the product catalog is incredibly impactful.
And I think also like seeding different products as well, like maybe understanding, I think when like maybe it's you have your face wash and then you're seeding a sample size of a serum, and then understanding, all right, what is that repeat purchase rate of said sample size for somebody to actually coming back and buying that full size.
Yeah, I think about my skin. I use a ton of Paula's Choice products, and so I got in on the BHA. That's like their big gateway product they push it. I actually don't like the BHA. Hot take. Actually, not the product for me. It was the first product I ever bought from them. I use 7 other products of theirs now.
But that's such a thing. Like brands have sneaky products with a really good retention, and it may not be the gateway product. That is a thing.
But I want to know, like, if the BHA didn't work, like you didn't like it as much, what made you want to go back to repeat and buy 7 other products?
They are so good at the upsells and cart.
I have also got the
crazy. Like I did a fully custom site. They are nuts with the freaking upsells and the offers and the retargeting and the whatever. And they got me with the samples in the box of the first order. And so like I was like, oh, and it was everywhere. You don't know for a while if you didn't. I tried I think a couple of different things maybe in that first order. I think like the BHA got me in the door. Then I did like an oil-free nighttime moisturizer and their sunscreen. And then now I use their vitamin C, their sunscreen, their niacinamide, all kinds of stuff that I use for them.
Okay. I also got onto their BHA, so I'm like,
I'll get you through the rest of the stuff.
I haven't used it yet, but I have it.
Supposed to.
Yeah, I was going to say sampling has been a huge unlock for us. I think most consumers know about ONNIT because of Alpha Brain, right? But they don't realize that we offer so many other awesome nootropics. And so by offering those samples, in their box, it starts to introduce them to some of our other assortment. And we see them, like at order number 2, order number 3, starting to add those other products to cart. So it's been a great experience.
Can I ask a sub question on that? On the sampling right here. How much are you guys investing, or like have you seen anything interesting like with different sample sets or like really nice packaging, like sample experience? I feel like samples are so good and you guys see a lot of them. Like what is working the best right now there?
No, that's a great question. We recently just started our sampling program. So with the recent feedback, we're starting to really expand that. And use it to inform some bundling strategy, what products are working well together. So there's a lot coming based on the insights we've been seeing.
And then from so Wellbel, we're a supplement brand first and foremost, and then we recently launched shampoo and conditioner. And some feedback that we actually received from our community is we were seeding them with sachets, just like the little plastic sachets that you can throw in a box, and they're really, really inexpensive to ship. But we actually received feedback, and we did some testing where we started actually doing minis. And so we're investing more right now in our minis. They literally look like a miniature version of our shampoo and conditioner. Not only just they're a tiny bit more expensive, but the use case goes much larger. So we're using them with sampling in our shipments, but we're also using them with influencers, with other seeding initiatives that we have. So that way we don't actually have to give them a full-size shampoo and conditioner, because that's much more expensive. So that's another way that we're also thinking about the sampling, is also the other use cases outside of just the D2C and outside of just like maybe it's, the upselling in the cart and things like that.
And so you guys look at the cohort, like the monthly cohort or whatever, and see like what you changed that month? Is that how you analyze it, or do you have more insights aside from that? For me personally, like just looking at the cohorts breaks my brain. So
yeah, so for my and I totally get it on the cohorts. I will say I personally like looking at the cohorts on a line chart so I can see a retention curve versus the heat maps. But when it comes to like the upsell, cross sell, a few things. I use the HAM feature. It's this new intelligence feature that they launched. And basically what it looks at like the top 5% of your subscribers. It identifies what actions they're taking. And then it helps you identify these new upcoming customers onto that crossroads, so you can properly upsell and cross-sell them to the correct product based off of their starting product. And then also there's a few other really cool charts that help you, like if you want to understand of the person who received the shampoo and conditioner sachet, what was that repeat purchase rate, et cetera, to really understand the what and the when, and then also the when to sell them something else as well.
Any other questions? Oh, I think there was one back there. Oh, up here too.
Sorry. Hi, Kellie. Wanted to ask you a question. You talked about delivering on the customer promise, and this time it's timed, and I know you're using a lot of AI. And so I'm wondering what's changed, with using AI and the ability to deliver on the customer promise, or sort of understand how you're doing towards it?
That's a great question. I am absolutely obsessed with AI, if you can't tell already. But it's really helpful in data mining and research, and really understanding the customer better, and what their expectations are. Sometimes, we will make a promise, right, to the customer, and we don't know necessarily if it's resonating, or if that's the if they're understanding, or we're setting the right expectation, I think is what I'm trying to say. So the cancellation survey, for one, is something that AI is really great at analyzing, especially also against behavior data. Making sure that survey is randomized, has randomized order answers, but really mining that area is so helpful in understanding, if we're delivering on the promise and where we can improve, whether that be in operations, in product innovation, and even marketing messaging.
Which tool do you use? What is your go-to, what tools are you using AI-wise?
So I might have mentioned it earlier. It's called Manus.
Okay.
Manus AI, MANUS. They're great. Where they're differentiated is that they actually leverage the majority of the different models. Mm-hmm. And based on your prompt, they'll select the right one to use. In fact, they can run multiple models at the same time for portions of your prompt, because each user has access to multiple computers in the cloud, and each computer can be used leveraging a different model at the same time. So the output is extremely rich and nuanced, which is why they're great for research and data analysis. They also make killer decks, much better than Nano Banana, in my opinion. But yeah, no, great tool.
Thank you. And then I think we had one question back there, but I think that will be our last one because I think we're running out of time, right?
Hi. Thanks, guys, for the panel. My name's Helen. I'm the head of growth at Topicals, which is a skincare brand, and we definitely see the issue with churn based on a lack of education around time to results. And I know you guys emphasized how important it is to educate the consumer around expectations, but I'm wondering sort of which touch points in the journey you find are most crucial for that education, and also tactically what you found most effective. I know there's a bit of a literacy crisis now, so I feel like just putting something in the welcome email isn't always as effective as we want it to be.
So Wellbel has found like the most, so we spend a lot of time even pre-purchase. We spend a lot of time educating even before somebody goes and presses that add to cart button, just because out of the gate that helps us then push them into that quarterly subscription. But also in the welcome journeys, we spend a lot of time with our before and afters. We really let our community and our users speak for us. And really when somebody gets that first renewal, letting them know, hey, this is what you should be experiencing, and also not talking in absolutes, because the truth is everyone responds to a supplement differently. So we don't want to make anyone feel bad if they're like behind on the curve. So I would definitely say we really lean into that welcome journey and pre-purchase for us.
I would also add to that, if you're sending the upcoming order email, especially in the early 1 through 3, where you know that you need to keep people on, doing like a dynamic widget in there of what they should be experiencing. I always make the analogy of when people are when women are pregnant, they'll be like, oh, today my baby's the size of a peanut. Now it's the size of this. Sometimes you need to tell people the things they don't see. So if it's a supplement or something like that, and you're like, hey, yeah, you can't see it, but 50% of collagen is increased 50%, in the first 30 days.
But check with your whoever handles your regulatory and claims. You don't want to overpromise, perhaps, but absolutely, I would second that.
Also, videos in your cancellation survey. If you have anything, huge, huge, huge. So if somebody goes to, I just am not feeling the effects, or I'm not whatever, quick educational, hey, I know, take a discount on the next order, just try this one more month, do whatever, but this is what you should be feeling, this is how long it takes. They can be incredibly impactful, even just at that moment of churn.
Yeah, and we've also found, we did some A/B testing around the video itself. We had Dr. Dan, our medical director, do an educational video, and then we A/B tested that against actually our community's testimonials. And we basically, we built this video that showed a lot of different faces talking about their experience and where they were in their journey. And you're not going to be surprised, but the community testimonials won. The results were out of the world. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's so strong. I think that concludes our panel. Thank you guys so much for participating. And thank you guys for being on the panel. You guys were all amazing.